Good afternoon. Hope you guys are great. Glad to be here. Ready to start off another week here against LSU Tigers. Obviously, a good football team, a lot of talent, never been short of talent. Our guys are excited, had a really good practice yesterday and today. Eyes are wide open, they're fired up, they're ready to rock and roll. Any questions?
What was your favorite aspect of Saturday and the way things, aside from the win, the way things played out for you guys on your side of the ball?
To me, it starts with this: the energy that we play with. I thought it was very contagious for the football team. I thought that our guys were. I mean, we got off the field of the first drive, and then just came to the sideline with a lot of juice, a lot of energy, a lot of just guys were active, guys were flying around. Everybody wanted a piece of the pie, and that was fun. I thought it was contagious. That was my favorite part, to be honest with you.
Yeah, going off that, you guys were seemingly able to eliminate Kentucky's passing game. This is an LSU offense that likes to throw the football a lot. Does the plan change at all based on the team, or how do you go about doing the same kind of thing again?
Yes, I mean, obviously, 44 yards passing is obviously a hard mark to try to repeat. LSU does an outstanding job. Coach Kelly, Nussmeier, and all those wideouts that they have really good tight ends. I think they, obviously present a challenge for everybody they play. The game plan definitely is changing every single week. You have to always adjust and to who you're playing and when you're playing, and you definitely want to keep the focus on yourself and your technique and how you play your coverages, be cleaner. A lot of things that we could have done better in the previous game and the previous two games. We feel like we're just now getting started, but we want to continue with those small details and keep practicing hard and bringing that great energy to practice.
LSU's obviously got a couple of probably future first-round NFL offensive tackles. Do you have to change anything at all when you see guys, lined up like that? And what do you see when you turn on the film on those two guys?
Yeah, between Campbell and Jones, those guys are Campbell 66, Jones is 50. I mean, they're definitely talented, long-ranged guys who play with a lot of energy. Like you watch them, they're helping their quarterback up when he gets knocked down. They're going for loose balls that are on the ground. I mean, I think they play. Their intangibles are just more important than their talent. But game plan-wise, you have to understand who you're going against, and it really doesn't really change. I can't, really make a huge change on our game plan, but we're definitely aware of who they are and their skill sets.
Is there any part of you that struggles to call the 3-3-5 because it takes Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard off the field?
It's a good question. I mean, naturally, yes and no at the same time, but you definitely want your best 11 on the field, and our guys understand that we have a deep defense, and we feel like only 11 guys can go. So, I mean, everybody can't play at once, but they understand we're preaching defense as a collective, and understand that when each call is about the guy beside you, it's not about an individual, and we're trying to keep preaching that. I think if we just continue preaching that mindset that we're playing defense as a group, as a collective, I think that it'll keep our mindset where it needs to be.
I was asking Shane yesterday about the sack totals and tackles for loss and so forth, and a lot of it was attributed to personnel, but he said there was also some scheme things that y'all were doing a little bit this year to better enable that to happen. Can you elaborate at all on what some of that may look like as far as what y'all have done a little bit differently? I'm not asking you to give away all your secrets, but a little bit for us.
Yeah, anytime a season is over with, you definitely have to take the time to evaluate and study. And other teams, you want to look on the stats and see how guys are creating more creating more TFLs and negative plays. That's the first thing you can do to help your third down defense. So we just, letting our guys play a little bit more football and trying to be a little bit, instead of being so technique sound up front, letting them use their athletic ability more. Easier way to say it, but I think it's helped us, and we're letting our D tackles, play a little bit faster. And so we're just trying to make sure that our linebackers understand that, when we are trying to go downhill and make some TFLs, because the LB's got some TFLs as well. Bam had a run through on Saturday, which was nice. Debo had 2 TFLs, so Vakari. So it's not just the D line, but we're trying to make sure that we all had opportunity last year and we missed them. So it's really more just that, but we really want our guys to kind of cut loose a little bit more, and we have good enough speed behind them to kind of clean up.
When you're playing as many guys as you are, is it easier to keep guys engaged because they know they may not be starting, but they're going to get in at some point and have a chance to do something?
So it really starts on how we start our defensive meetings from this summer. And I kind of basically flat out said, hey, listen, we can only play 11 you guys at once. And you guys look around, it's more than 11 football players, really dudes in here. So we want to just keep that same group together. And our guys on the term, when your number is called, you definitely want to answer. You definitely want to be locked in. I think it is easier to keep a lot of guys engaged. So we got to do a great job as a staff to keeping our guys together, more importantly. But I think right now, guys are in a good spot, and they understand that we're creating roles for certain players. We want our guys to understand their role.
I think you guys gave up like 50% of third downs in week 1 and was way better last week. A lot of that's probably just third and short versus third and long. But what else did you work on this last week in terms of third down defense, or was it all just working on first and second down defense?
No, so Tuesdays in college football, most Tuesdays are first and second down. Wednesdays are third down and some corrections from Tuesday. Then Thursdays is red zone, and then kind of clean up through the rest of the week, 2-minute, some situational football stuff. So we didn't change anything that we did. We got the win last week. Coach Beamer, kind of like me, we're not going to change too much. But today was primarily a third down day. And, I guess, our guys played better. We executed some calls better. Like we could have had – and I will say ODU was a couple third and shorts, and their style of play is completely different too. So it's different schemes, so different weeks.
Going back to last week with Kentucky, with the secondary really defending well against the pass and having those 2 interceptions, I mean, what kind of leads to the good coverage they were able to have in space?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing we talk about, coverage and rush go hand in hand. It all goes hand in hand. So to me, the very first pick that Nick had, we flushed him out the pocket just a little bit. He kind of retreated. He kind of threw off his back foot. I'm not quite sure he was throwing a curl on the backside, but we had a couple guys in the window, and he probably was worried about the rush earlier. So either way, it played a factor, even though there was no pressure on that play. But he's already been sacked a couple of times, so he didn't want to get sacked again. He heard it throw and didn't see Nick. The second one was a disguise by DQ. He showed one coverage and then dropped down, and the quarterback kind of flung it a little high right into Kilgore's hands. So it all goes hand in hand. Everybody plays a role in each turnover, each takeaway. And then and we just kind of keep preaching that every single day.
You talked about the linebackers getting downhill. Your 2 new ones who are playing the most right now, Bengali and Demetrius. What's your evaluation of their performance through 2 weeks?
Yep, I like obviously how they're playing, just their process. I'm more impressed with the process than I am the actual play on Saturdays. But to me, like, obviously you won't play on Saturday if you don't do the process throughout the week, and they've both been really good in that regard. D Knight had the very first play of the season, which kind of showed his flash. He played decent Saturday. He wants to be better. Obviously, we always got room to improve, but they've been fun. Gali brings us different kind of flash to our defense and how he played. He showed a lot this spring in this fall camp. I got a little banged up, but he's back now, so it's good to have him back 100%.
Clayton, just to change the subject a little bit, today's the 23rd anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. I mean, I know that's like half a lifetime for you away, but you were a rookie with the Giants then.
Yes.
What are some of your recollections or connections from being up there at that time?
Yep. One, I recognize your hat. Definitely, that was definitely obviously a trying time for a lot of people. Me personally, I was on the New York Giants football team, and we landed in Newark, New Jersey, the morning of 9/11. So I'm actually in somebody's book about my story about my 9/11 story. So I don't want to dwell on it, get into it right now. That's probably for another conversation. But the main thing I remember is just practicing with the New York Football Giants on that Wednesday morning after 9/11, and seeing the towers smoking up, and then Coach Jim Fossil basically called practice. We left, and then on to the next week, and obviously a lot of things happened after that. But the main memory is just seeing families come over to the New York Giants facilities. It'll be indoor facility full of kids who probably lost their parents. So stuff like that is definitely deep and heavy, but definitely memorable for sure.
Sorry to jump off that. The Kentucky at one point had 11 straight run plays. Mm-hmm. When you're a defensive coordinator sitting up there and you see 8 straight run plays, are you like, man, they're literally not going to pass the ball, or are you just real scared that, hey, they're about to change things up? How do you When you're looking down, how do you go from there?
Definitely not scared. So let's make sure. Definitely not scared. But really, as a coordinator, our job is to assess what's going on, evaluate what's going on. And so I felt like at the time they was like, you know what? He's a defensive head coach. He said, I've seen this quarterback getting sacked enough. You better run it. That's what I saw. And we was patient with it. We didn't panic. We didn't say let's blitz every play. Let's do this. Let's not. I didn't want to run the pop. That was the main thing because I knew I didn't want to have a big play to get them back into the game. But we felt like we had an advantage. So, but then we was good and forced the field goal and moved on.
How much easier does life get as a defensive coordinator when you can get home with 3 or 4?
I'm pretty sure every defensive coordinator said definitely. It's one of those things where it's better. It's not easy still. We're in the SEC, so LSU Tigers coming to town, so I know that nothing's easier. It may seem easier on the outside, but it's never easy in this league. And our guys are still working. They're ready to take on the challenge what's coming this Saturday. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good one.